It's morphin' time. Pterodactyl.
Hi there, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing you the It's Wrestling Time post show. And for tonight, I will be reviewing Impact Wrestling. Alright, so tonight's Impact kicked off with the qualifying match for the Ultimate X, and we had Alex Shelley versus Trey Miguel. This was a great opening contest, I will say. Commentary made note of the fact that Trey Miguel was wearing black and white as an homage to Alex Shelley, who had trained and mentored him for these past 2 years. And as a sign of respect, both men shake hands before the start of the match. And I really enjoyed this match. I really did. At one point, poor Trey Miguel went face first into the ring post, and then Alex Shelley tried to chop him, but then he moved, and Shelley ended up hitting the ring post with his hand. So that looked like it hurt. That looked like it hurt. And it's just like it's. Oh, and at one point, Alex Shelley hyperextended Trey Miguel's elbow. Ow. And Trey Miguel ended up going face first into the middle turnbuckle. So, towards the end of the match, Alex Shelley hit the driver in the center of the ring to Trey Miguel, but Trey Miguel still kicked out. And then he hit the automatic midnight, and yet Trey Miguel still kicked out. And then he hit the Motor City Stretch, which Trey Miguel ended up turning into a pin, and then Alex Shelley just walked away. So it's like he didn't even shake his hand, nothing. He just walked away. So he looked like he was upset. And then, so now we got Trey Miguel, Kenny King, Speedball Mike Bailey, all qualifying for the Ultimate X match. I cannot wait. It's going to be a good show. Good match, I should say. So then after this, we had the Briscoe Brothers segment, who said that they are the baddest tag team in Impact, not only in Impact, but in the world. They beat Violent by Design for the tag titles and then in the rematch. But yet, Violent by Design had the nerve to attack them in a post-match assault. And then Josh Alexander, who was also there with them, says that Eric Young may have held the title in the past before, but Eric Young is looking at the future of the company, and he's going to have to do everything to take the title from him. Then the Good Brothers show up and say that the tag team titles look fancy on the Briscoes, but they're certainly not the baddest until they beat the Good Brothers, and their reign doesn't count. So the Briscoes are saying, let's make it count, let's make it count. And so later on in the night, we find out it's going to be the Good Brothers versus the Briscoes for the Impact Tag titles at Slammiversary. I cannot wait. And there's already history there. The Good Brothers faced off against the Briscoes at Multiverse matches. So this is a rematch. I cannot wait. Briscoes are going to get their win back. That's for sure. All right. So next week. So then we got the undefeated Masha Samovic against Havoc. Okay. So Masha Samovic, ever since she debuted, Impact had been building her up. She was facing jobber after jobber after jobber after jobber. Until last week when Havok stepped to the plate. She stepped up, got in Masha's face, and I was so excited because Masha is a beast. Havok is a beast too. So I was waiting for these two women to collide. I really was. And I knew Havok was going to be Masha's toughest opponent to date. Remember, Masha is used to running through her opponents like she's done so these past couple of months. But this was I don't want to say it was no easy feat, but I like the fact that both women stared each other down and Masha slapped Havok and then Havok slapped her. And then there was a kick to the side of Havok's head, and Masha hit her with the snowplow, and the match was over. So I was shocked because number one, that the match was somewhat short, and number two, that Havok went down so easily. I felt I get what they were trying to do, show Masha she's this beast, and she is. I thought this match was going to be longer, and I really thought that Havok was going to be a much bigger threat and challenge to Masha than she was. But dang, she's still undefeated. So who's next for Masha? Does she go back to facing jobbers? Or does she move on to something else? You just have to wait and see. But then after Havoc got taken down, Rosemary and DK came to check on Havoc. It was like they were shocked. I think everybody was shocked that she went down. And then afterwards, we get a Trey Miguel and Kenny King segment. So it's basically like in the back. And Alex Shelley's there. And Alex Shelley fist bumps Trey Miguel. He shakes his hand. He gives him a hug and says he's proud of him. And then he walks away. Then Kenny King shows up and says he's the greatest X Division champion of this generation and calls Blake Christian a nobody. Blake Christian then turns around and says that maybe Kenny King should put his spot on the line in the match against him. So he basically talked Kenny King into putting his spot in the Ultimate X match on the line next week against Blake Christian. So it's going to be an interesting bout. Very interesting. All right. And then Rich Swann says that Mid Cardona has been dodging him ever since he issued the challenge. It doesn't care where Cardona is. He's going to come and take the digital media title off of him. And then he issues a challenge to Matthew Raywall. And he vows revenge. So the reason why he's issuing a challenge to Matthew Raywall is because Matthew Raywall, during the Gauntlet for the Gold, they had Mid Cardona's music play, which distracted Rich Swann and allowed Matthew Raywall to get in there. So speaking of Mid Cardona, afterwards you had Chelsea Green versus Jordyn Grace. So Chelsea Green is here, but where's Matt Cardona? I mean, they say he's on his honeymoon, but how can he be on his honeymoon when his wife is wrestling? So, like, Matt Cardona is just being a heel. All right. And so then Jordyn Grace chases Chelsea Green to the outside of the ring. And, like, one of the things I really like was a senton off the apron that Chelsea Green did to Jordyn Grace, and then the spine buster that Jordyn Grace did to Chelsea Green. But at the end, of course, Jordyn Grace wins after she hits the Grace Driver to Chelsea Green. So, good bout. So then we get an Honor No More segment, and basically saying that Maria's sitting at home because of the Good Brothers. So technically, it's because of Mike Bennett. I mean, he did attack his own wife, but in all fairness, he was trying to go for Carl Anderson, but Carl Anderson moved out of the way, allowing Mike Bennett to attack Maria last week. So they basically want a match against the Good Brothers, but Scott D'Amore tells them the Good Brothers cannot face Honor No More because they're facing the Briscoes in a tag match at Slammiversary for the tag titles. And then Eddie Edwards says that if they don't get what they want, nobody does. And he tells Scott D'Amore to think about it. So that lets you know right there and then Honor No More is not happy that the Good Brothers are getting a tag team title shot against the Briscoes at Slammiversary when they're not. Then we get a quick segment between Deonna Purrazzo. She's saying that everyone goes after her whenever somebody comes to Impact. She says she will make history at Slammiversary. Then Tasha Steelz interrupts her and says that she's a history maker because she won the first ever Knockouts Ultimate X match, and she isn't here to pick a fight with her. Instead, she says that they have one thing in common, and that's Mia Yim. So she's basically like offering her a ringside seat to see Savannah Evans take on Mia Yim next week. So curious to see what Deonna decides to do. She's probably going to accept. Oh my god. And then we had like an incredible match between Chris Sabin and Frankie Kazarian. Their first meeting 20 years ago was a battle of the futures. And this was great. This was an incredible match. I was actually really enjoying it. Like, one of my favorite spots in this match was that it was a kick to the back of the head of Frankie Kazarian. Then he got a big boot to the face. And then he got hit with the tornado DDT, all courtesy of Chris Sabin. Oh my god. But let's talk about that belly to back suplex that Chris Sabin did to Frankie Kazarian. But Frankie Kazarian still managed to kick out. I was shocked. I thought for sure that was it for both of them. But nope. Still managed to kick out. And then both men attempt a crossbody. And then Oh my god, this was such a great match. And then Honor No More came out and attacked Chris Sabin and attacked Frankie Kazarian. Because remember, they were upset that they didn't get a tag team title match. So then afterwards, it leads to a backstage summit where they said that what are they what's Impact celebrating? 20 years of Taven mentions that they're the top talent. Look how Impact is treating them. Kenny King says that Chris Sabin and Frankie Kazarian represent 20 years of Impact and they were left laying. Vincent says that what are they celebrating? Eddie Edwards says they're celebrating 20 years of lies and disrespect and dishonor and shown to the industry, and more importantly, to Honor No More. And Mike Bennett says it's 20 years of disrespecting talent. And he says that Impact Wrestling has no respect. I was like, dang. I guess that kind of alludes to the past treatment of talent that, under previous management. So I actually kind of dug that they mentioned that. Excuse me for a second. I apologize for that. And then excuse me 1 second. Okay, I do apologize about that. So then Heath and Rhino show up, and basically Heath says that Taven got fired and Impact gave them an opportunity, yet they're all ungrateful. Rhino says that Impact doesn't handcuff you and that they gave him an opportunity, and if you want something, you have to take it. And then a brawl breaks out between Honor No More and Heath and Rhino. So props to Heath and Rhino for signing up to Honor No More. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go. Like, I honestly really hope Honor No More does get a tag team title shot. And I don't know if they're going to be added eventually to a tag team title match. Maybe they'll get a tag team title match down the road, but they certainly deserve it. But I don't know how I would feel about Honor No More facing Heath and Rhino at Slammiversary. I mean, you can just have that match randomly on Impact. So I'm curious to see what Honor No More is going to be doing at Slammiversary. Then we get a tag team match. It's Shera and Raj Singh versus Bhupinder Gunhar and W. Morrissey. Wow, I have to say, W. Morrissey and Bhupinder Gunhar really worked well together. I mean, like, for two people who have never teamed up prior to this or don't have any history, like, they worked incredibly well together. They really did. Because, okay, W. Morrissey, he picked up Bhupinder Gunhar and then, he slammed him onto Raj Singh. And then, you had elbows to Raj Singh by W. Morrissey, and then he tagged Bhupinder Gunhar in again. Then you had Gujjar. Then you had Shera do a clothesline to Gujjar. Of course, Raj Singh and Shera did a tag double teamed Gujjar when the ref wasn't looking or paying attention. But I have to say, like I said, they worked really well together. Another instance of them working really well together was the finish. So Morrissey chokes some Raj, and then the crowd is chanting for, they're chanting for Gujjar. And so Morrissey's like, you want him. And so he tags in Gujjar, and he hits Raj with the gargoyle spear. And so they end up winning the match. And like, I've been impressed by Bhupinder Gunhar since the very first day he debuted. He's has 6 victories. He's undefeated, and he impressed me since day one. And Morrissey and Gunhar together were impressive, very impressive. I honestly would not mind if they become a tag team going forward. I would not, because they were impressive in this match. I mean, they had good tag team chemistry. For, like I said, for 2 people who have never teamed up or never had any prior history, like, hey, very good tag team chemistry. Okay, so then we had a Moose segment, and basically Moose was saying Sami Callihan is the biggest fraud in pro wrestling. He says he has people thinking that he is playing mind games, and the last time him and Sami Callihan went face to face, Callihan left on the stretcher. Then Macklin shows up because apparently it's going to be Moose and Steve Macklin versus... they're going to be teaming up in a tag match next week. So Macklin says that he prefers to work alone. But if him and Moose are going to win, he needs Moose to get Sami Callihan out of his head. And then Moose makes a point to say that Sami Callihan is not in his head. Then the screen starts to like turn blurry, kind of like signaling Sami Callihan is nearby, and Moose kind of like freaks out. And then Macklin says to get Sami Callihan out of his head and walks away. So begs the question, is Sami Callihan in Moose's head? Is he? I think to me it seems like he is, and I honestly think like Sami Callihan is going to play a factor in that tag match next week. So the main event featured Violent by Design versus Josh Alexander and the Briscoe Brothers. Wow. Okay. So this match was like everywhere. But it was really good main event. And I have to say, like, Sammy's controlling his mind, you think? We'll have to wait and see. I have to say, like, Violent by Design sent both Josh Alexander and the Briscoe Brothers a message in this match. I mean, Josh Alexander got busted open after Eric Young put Josh in like the middle turnbuckle, and he sent like Diener crashing into him. And like after that, like Josh Alexander does the shoulder to midsection and then Northern Light suplex to Diener. You can see blood come out of Josh Alexander's nose. So like this was a message sent to them. And of course, Violent by Design up to their tricks. Like Eric Young hit Mark Briscoe with the Violent by Design flag. Then Diener hit the DDT to Mark, but Alexander broke that up. Alexander went for the C4 spike, but then Josh Alexander got taken out by Joe Dorian on the outside. Like, holy smokes, like Joe Dorian is a big dude, and he took out Josh Alexander. Then there's a palm strike to Eric Young and then to Diener, but then Diener hits Mark Briscoe with Eric Young's mask, and then Eric Young hits a power driver to Mark Briscoe and allowing Violent by Design to win this match. So I feel bad. Josh Alexander got busted open. He's just bleeding from the nose. But yeah, so incredible, good main event match. And like I said, message has been definitely sent to them. And the road to Slammiversary is looking really, really good. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for it. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I just want to remind everybody I'm not doing a review for SmackDown and Rampage, as I am going to Double or Nothing. I leave tomorrow. So with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for your continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if I don't see you guys on Sunday after Double or Nothing, I definitely will see you guys on Monday after Monday Night Raw. You guys have a great night. Bye.